Too much.
I know.
Oh.
How we doing? Not too bad. Busy but good.
Do you want me to run that then from up there? Like, go to the...
Is it a wireless mouse?
Or is it wired?
This one's wired.
If you can't get it, we can just plug mine in since I have it out when it gets charged.
Yeah. Yes. What were you talking about? Yes.
It's still spinning for you too?
Yeah. She's
I grabbed the last bit of it.
I don't answer.
I don't think it's you. I think it's probably the.
Take like 30 seconds to answer.
I've got
really
If I do answer and they're still waiting and it takes some time to pick up, I hang up knowing I'm at a call center then. Get that.
Do you want to know what they do sometimes?
I'm not your clerk.
So they look at my last name and see something, and they don't know my name's not Linda. Is Linda there? I'm like, this is
yeah, on my cell phone it comes straight out.
My mother-in-law.
Got some Wi-Fi issues going on here.
I think we're good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Alright, ready? Michelle?
We are ready.
We're ready? Alright. Alright, I call the September 22nd North Scott School Board meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you everybody for coming tonight. I'll first start off with motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
It's been first and seconded. Is there any discussion on the agenda items for tonight? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we have an approved agenda. Now moving on to comments and suggestions from citizens. Keep in mind we have 3 minutes to talk, and there's no dialogue back and forth, but if there's any follow-up, then we'll reach out separately, and they will get to the students. So is there anybody from the crowd that would like to speak to the board? All right. Please state your name and purpose. You go ahead and do the timeline.
I'm Kayla Kesey. I'm with Big Brothers Big Systems. And I am here for a couple of reasons. One, I want to congratulate Joe Stedding. He and 3 other superintendents from the area just participated in Over the Edge. They raised funds for one-to-one youth mentoring, and they were our top fundraiser as a team. So they are impacting youth. Yes, they deserve a big round of applause. But they're impacting youth not only within your school district, but all over the community. And we are just truly blessed that they took this opportunity to come together, to team up, and make it happen. They repelled 11 stories, 140 feet, second year for Joe, and then TJ from Davenport, as well as Brian from TV. But we want to present this to him for him to enjoy and share with all of you, so maybe one of you in the future would want to do it. But through that initiative, it's all about finding the courage to believe in yourself and to see that there's all kinds of things that are possible in your life. And it's the bridge that our organization provides for kids. And through the dollars that we raise, which this year was our biggest year yet in raising over $193,000 for youth mentoring.
That's wonderful.
And we had 110 repellers. And so we're able to match more kids with adults.
That's so wonderful.
With that said, we have a huge need for volunteers in this school district specifically, as well as the other districts that we serve. We serve Scott County as well as Rock Island and other areas. We serve over 200 kids, but we have a huge need for volunteers. We need mentors, people to step up, to have lunch with a child, to meet with them after school or in the evenings. We have 2 different programs that we do. And so I'm just encouraging you to think internally yourself, who do you know, who are you connected to that might be able to go have lunch with a child at the school? Who can give them that positive consistent energy that they're needing to see that they have a future. They can explore opportunities and see that there's possibilities for them. We all know that there's a lot of kids struggling, and our organization is here to help them bridge that gap and see that they can be successful and work with the schools to make it happen. So I appreciate your time today, and just thrilled with the partnerships we've been able to form with all the schools, and look forward to coming back. We have an event called Big Fur Day, which Joni had attended this last spring, and where we can bring people and experience what that means to be a bit.
So sweet.
Thank you.
Or would you like to-
Just thank you.
Okay.
Joe, I think you need to go up there to receive that.
Yeah.
Michelle needs to get a picture.
Oh,
Get a
I do.
picture,
Yeah, thank you.
The
Shake his
TJ had got the Illinois superintendents, 4 of them, to compete against us, who can raise the most money, so we beat the Illinois superintendents, and they went right after we did.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thanks
you're
for
very
coming in,
welcome.
help great
Yeah, they
organization.
raised almost $6,000.
Thank you for
Thank
coming
you very
tonight.
much. All right, are there any students in the audience that are here for government class? Ooh,
First one of the year.
first one, very good job. Who's your teacher? And I'll just tell your teacher just to give you an
Dean Marmion.
A. Okay, so just state your name and let's go with an easy one. What's your favorite subject?
Maisie, my favorite subject's history.
Cool, all right. Well, any of us can sign your paper when we're done tonight, so thank you for coming. Yeah. Yeah, I always tell people to avoid that one, and that's the one we get the largest crowd at most times. So. All right. Yes. All right, moving on to consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved?
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on any of the items in the consent agenda?
Just one, and I asked Jill here, Bridgeview Communities Mental Health, where is that out of? Is
Say that again.
The Bridgeview Community Mental Health Center. We have a service agreement with them.
Oh, the Bridgeview. Go ahead.
That formerly Bethany.
Yeah, okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Oh, they haven't
Thank you.
changed their signs in town yet.
Okay.
They, yes, it's a slow process.
Thank you, Heather.
Yep.
All right, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, moving on to, we don't have any recognitions tonight. Moving on to bills. Is Jill?
Yeah, I'm over
Oh,
here.
sorry. I'm so sorry, Jill.
Okay, $1,118,757,000 of bills presented for approval for payment. The highlights I have are payment to KE Flatwork for $69,620 for the improvements to Fifth Street by Ed White. Payment to Horizon Group for $82,167, which was for multiple summer projects that took place this summer. And a payment to True North for $5,625. It's our quarterly benefit consulting fee that we pay from our health insurance fund. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jill.
Make a motion to approve the bills.
Second.
This motion is seconded. Any discussion on any of the bills? Questions for Jill? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of approving the bills for September, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, no committee reports tonight, and then this is our first in our rotation. So, Mr. Green, I turn over to you for your Neil Armstrong
Perfect.
presentation. Thank you for hosting us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for coming out and joining us here at Neil Armstrong. Tonight I'm gonna have Ms. Dill talk a little bit about Character Strong. That's our program, our SEL lessons that we're providing for our kids this year, and it tied in really nicely with one of our goals in self-regulation within students within the classroom. We felt as a building that if our students if they were self-regulated, that would increase instructional time within the classroom by also teaching those strategies for them to self-calm themselves and get themselves in the right state of learning so they're not disrupting classrooms, and how they're going about that in our building here. So Character Strong really tied in really great to that with one of our building goals this year. So I'm gonna turn it over to Miss Jill to let her talk to you a little bit about Character Strong and the positive impact it's having already with our students and the amount of lessons that are being shared, and just give you some background on that. This is something that's being done district-wide, the Character Strong, and it's so far it's had some positive results, and it tied in nicely with what we're already doing and just supporting the students' social emotional needs.
Okay, so this is my third year here at Neil Armstrong. And the first year, I was at the elementary level, Tim made me present. So can I look your years off again?
Maybe.
We'll talk about that. Other duties.
Yeah, they always get the counselor.
Okay, so at the end of last year, I remember talking to teachers, like, how do we tie morning meetings into what I'm teaching in counselor lessons, into what we have here is Exceptional Eagles, our monthly character traits that the kids get an award and recognize. They were all awesome pieces, but never really tied together. So that was my goal. I think in like April, I was talking to a lot of teachers, like, what do you do for your morning meetings? How can I tie it to what I'm teaching every week? And then I feel like Tim came to me and was like, hey, what do you know about this Character Strong? And I was like, I don't know anything. I think the conversation might have started at the admin level. And then we started hearing about it at our counseling PLCs, and then looking into it, I was like, this is exactly what I was looking for. Like, this has the lessons, it has components that teachers can use in the classroom, and then we just took our character traits for our Exceptional Eagles and changed them into match what Character Strong has. So I wanted to share like a really brief overview. I'm hoping you guys haven't had this yet, on what Character Strong is all about. And what the elementary model is purposeful people, right? Junior high is different. So it's really all about relationships. So we talk about these kids that need mentors, talk about kids experiencing adverse childhood experiences. So many of them have so many different experiences. This curriculum is huge on building the relationship between the adults and the children within the building. So the Harvard Grad School of Education did a study, and it's hugely concerning. So they surveyed a ton of parents and asked them, would you rather your kid be high performing, happy, or kind? And obviously 80% or more of the parents said kind over any of those other things. But then they surveyed the children and asked them, what do you think the adults in your life want you to be? High performing, happy, or kind? And overwhelmingly, the large majority of kids thought that the adults in their life want them to be high performing and get good grades. So to turn that aspect in school, this is an awesome way just to build relationship with kids and not talk about anything like math or any of the other curriculum that they're having throughout their day. So here's an example. I'm going to show you an image, and then you can talk with the people around you what makes you happy about the picture. Show.
On that picture?
Anything in this image make you happy? Nature.
The cool clouds.
The colorful sky, clouds.
Looks peaceful.
Yeah, it looks very peaceful.
And then, is there anything you would add to make it more enjoyable for you?
Me.
You?
Yeah, me.
Maybe a friend?
Yeah. Fairway, a green.
Yeah. Golf club.
Cool cabin.
Down the hill though.
So this is one of the opening activities, and I'll explain the components in a little bit. But this is the structure of the pre-K-5 curriculum. So they break it down to be kind, be strong, be well, and then each month has a character trait. So we rotate throughout the year. Some lessons and months are on social skills, some are on executive functioning, and then some are on emotional regulation. And so they're getting it throughout the whole year. And then each weekly lesson has a start, connect, grow, respond, and exit. So that was a connect activity that you just saw in that image. The start is typically like an introduction to, this month we're talking about responsibility. So in the littles, it's like a song and a dance, and then up to the bigs, it's more like of a discussion, what does responsibility mean? And then the grow section is where the counselors are delivering. So it's typically a 30-minute section just within the grow, and that's what the counselors are delivering at the elementary level, pre-K 5, and then the 6 is a little bit different. And then the respond has them interacting, just checking their knowledge of what we just did in grow as well as the exit. Sometimes it's like a challenge. Can you do this outside the classroom, or can you show your teacher changes every week? Okay, so here's another example of a connection. So it's gonna be, there's gonna be an animal. What do you think they're thinking?
Oh, Joni.
That's what you're thinking.
That is my happy place.
What's
at our
the pig
pool.
thinking?
Huh?
What is the pig thinking?
Get me out of this water.
What's on my back?
Anyone else either out or not?
What's on my back? Yeah, I heard
He looks happy.
we're hanging out relaxing, but then I heard the other side of it is, get off me, I'm always carrying you everywhere. Yeah, it's interesting with the
I thought that as well. I was
the
thinking
second
of
piece.
negative.
Yeah. This is one of the littler ones. They don't discuss as much what's missing, so they look at the images, and it's nice to see the kids that are like helping out the friends near them, and then you got the companion. Oh, I already found 2. Did you find the third? But just watching their relationships when they're doing the activity is kind of cool.
That's cool.
I'm not gonna take you through. I was gonna pull up a lesson, but I think with the internet being slow, I'm gonna skip over that. And then the 6th grade model is in a middle school model. So with 6th grade being in our elementary, it's a little bit different, but very similar. Like a start, a connection. The content is more the meat of the lesson. Character Gerald, like a challenge, and then kind of an exit ticket. And then this is an example out of this week. We're in the 2nd lesson of bullying, and part of it is to look at the board policy on what our district believes in bullying. So it's nice for the kids to kind of dig through it and piece together what they think it means. And my last one. This is a 6th grade connection. So what do you see? A what?
The goalie messed up.
The goalie messed up. What don't we see?
Don't see the goal, and you don't see all the work that led up to the goal being scored.
Mm-hmm. And we could talk about why that's important, right? And how could you relate, and again, talking about and connecting with peers. Okay. What I mix?
What I think is awesome is that this really connects with what we were already doing in the classroom for the teachers. It gives teachers a starting point. We took something off of our teachers' plate because teachers were having morning meetings or class meetings. And this just realigned with what we already had in class meetings, but this gave them a platform. They didn't have to create their lessons anymore for those class meetings. This took something off their plate. It better aligned with what our counselor was already doing in the classroom. And to date, we are at 432.
51.
400
District-wide.
district-wide lessons across the board. So again, these kids are getting these experiences of how to handle conflict, how to handle conflict, how to dive into bullying, what do we do in those situations, and then just being kind and good to your neighbor around you, right? Because we know that that's an integral part of just being part of a family, being part of a culture of a building that really believes in that. And again, it's streamlined for us. It already tied into what we were doing. It's good for kids, and it took something off of our teachers' plate to allow them to focus on other areas. But again, this was all aligned, and it just fit, and it was a good fit for us here at our building. It coordinates with our Tier 1 because our kids are getting Tier 1 lessons. So our requirement is that they have it 3 to 5 times a week within the classroom, and that's their Tier 1. So they're getting that Tier 1 intervention. And then what's nice about this, it has Tier 2. So if we notice that there's some kids still struggling within this and they're not getting the concepts, then that's when Miss Jill will have those times and set up that time to meet with those kids that need that additional small group instruction, so that they get pulled during their lunchtime during their lunchtime or any other different time throughout the course of the day that doesn't interfere with their core content areas. And again, it's all research based, it's all database. When they have their exit tickets, how are they doing? Are they able to perform what they've been taught? If they're not able to, then at which point, what do we do to provide greater supports along that? It also works in really nice with our PBIS program, and from a data standpoint, pulling that data. Are kids able to transfer what they're learning here into their everyday life? And again, it's a good system check for us to make sure that they're being able to implement what's being taught. No different than what's in reading, no different than what's in math, social studies, or science. Are they able to transfer it? And that's, this is one of those huge skills that unfortunately kids seem to be lacking anymore, is those social skills. So how are we reinforcing that and then teaching them those appropriate ways to handle conflict, or just be kind to your neighbor around you, because there's so much influence by the internet, and they're isolated just with internet and games, and how do we interact with those people around us? And this does a really nice job from the lessons I've seen so far of bridging that gap and getting them to engage. But I love how it started. It's what we've been talking about forever. It all starts with those relationships and getting those kids to believe in us and the power of our teachers and the power of the people that are in front of them to really have an impact on the student themselves. So again, it's about those relationships and getting them to talk, open up, and be vulnerable in front of their peers about talking about some of these silly things or something about another experience that may have happened.
So you said most days of the week the teachers are doing these mini lessons?
Yep.
And then Jill, how often do you do a big lesson with the classes?
Once a week in every class.
Once a week in every
Yep.
class? Oh.
So I think we are unique within the other elementary buildings. All of our teachers have access, and Tim, we introduced this at the beginning of the year and asked that they do use a component of it in their morning meetings. So they can use the Start, Connect, Respond, and Exit in their morning meetings.
Okay.
And then the Grow is during the counselor lesson once a week.
A great program.
Are we using this throughout the entire district? Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep.
So what kind of, when you get the counselors together, what kind of discussions do you have based on this program? Because I know there are a lot of neat programs out there. One thing I'm glad about is that you're doing it throughout the district. All 5 elementaries are doing this. So I wonder what kind of discussions the counselors have to improve it, what areas of concern that you might have, what are some problems you come up with, and I'm sure principals, you probably get together too as far as getting this, since it's all in all schools.
Yeah.
So
I think it's so early to tell.
Right.
Like the biggest challenge so far was there's more there than what we have time for within the year.
Sure.
So going through the components of it and what is a necessity and which ones we can kind of pair together, or maybe just leave out or leave for like a families activity, which we do school-wide, or let that teacher do that activity in the classroom. So I think the biggest challenge so far has been our pacing guide as counselors, just making sure that we're consistently delivering the same messages, because there is way more in the program than what we have time for during the school year.
That's good.
And then also, I think, looking at the end of the year, did we hit the right areas? What's our data saying, right? What's our building level data saying? Did we hit this area? Are we, was there still struggles where, in the classroom, conflict resolution? Is that something from a discipline notice that we're seeing in the buildings? Does that connect over here? Is that something with our pacing guide? Do we need to spend more time in that specific area, or back off in another area? Or how do we target those areas that maybe need greater influence on each of the buildings too? So again, it's still in its infancy here a little bit, but I think from what I've seen, it's been good.
I didn't even get to talk about tier 2. So we're one of the two buildings in the district that have tier 2. So I believe I have 6 or 7 different small groups right now. And the huge change that I've seen for that is previously I'd pull the kids and it would be a separate curriculum. Now it is the same characters and the same videos, it's just deeper. So those kids that are having a hard time, like kindergarten, today we were talking about focus and being a good listener. So they've already gotten it in the classroom, and then the same characters are teaching it in the small group, which is extremely nice, because I feel like they couldn't connect the dots before. Like what I was teaching with, what are you learning with Miss Jill, and how does that connect back
So they're hearing the same message in a different way. So the tier 2 stuff has been amazing. It's super organized as blurbs that I can send to the parents after every time I meet with them, what they learned in group, and all of that was time spent me creating that after all the lessons previously, and now I just tweak a few things, and it's extremely nice, and I'm able to run more groups because of the structure of it.
So I think it was 4 years ago, 5 years ago, Heather, I think you and I, the AEA brought this company in, I believe it's a Minnesota company, it's a Midwest curriculum. And we did not jump on board right away. I think Davenport first brought it in, then Bettendorf, or those at the same time, then PB did 2 years ago. We are the last Quad City school that's using this as the guidance curriculum. And what pushed us even faster it's been such a positive benefit on the community. Scott County Kids is paying for it. So we actually are getting late into the game from the other ones, but because of the success of it and what the other districts have said, this has really helped a lot of what you have said. This has helped bring things together for us. We have consistency. Now when any kid goes from Davenport, Bettendorf, Pleasant Valley, and when they move around us, they're hearing all this same stuff of what you expect. Yeah, every one of them in the Quad Cities does.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
That's cool. Thank you.
Any other questions or anything?
Excellent job. Jill, we'll see you next year.
2 years, just for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Require that year.
No, a minute, 2 years.
You're gonna do it another time, don't you?
I'll bring your yearbook picture the next time.
I'll sign it for you.
Thanks, Jill.
Thanks, Jill.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Jill.
It's nice to see life skills being taught at home, even in kindergarten. So just goes to show you learn a lot of what you need to know in kindergarten.
Everything, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Everything.
All right, thank you again, Tim. Old business, we have the wrestling roof replacement, Joe. you
Yeah,
wanna
included
go
in
through
your
that?
packet, you'll see the bid documents. We ended up with 6 bids, and you can see the one bid is really low. We had a couple companies there, and they're like, there's no way that could be right. And so we called up the company. Well, Encore is owned by a gentleman whose no compete clause ended this year, and so he started he sold a roofing company, a very successful roofing company, had to wait till the no compete clause was going before he could start roofing again. And so they're roofing again, and he goes, the reason my bid is so much cheaper is because I have a small crew. I'm on the job. I'm the owner, and I'm the boss, and I'm on the job, and this is the type of roof. He goes, I need work to continue with my people. He goes, I know it's extremely competitive, and is basically paying for the material, but he knew everything. He knows that it's to take the solar off the roof and put back on, it's $30,000. You know, because I was gonna say, well, you can't do this. It's 30 grand alone just to pull those things off. And so it's a great bid. It's a good company to be working with. They have good references, and we're recommending approving Encore roofing for $139,300.
Where are they out of?
That's a good question. I did not look that far
Oh,
enough. I
okay.
don't remember. Here in Iowa.
Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry, I just looked it up before, right after I asked you. Should've done that first.
Make a motion to approve the bid to Encore for the wrestling roof.
Second.
It's been motion second. Any discussion on the wrestling roof replacement?
So just to clarify, that's the entire roof. That's even the lower part, meaning, you know, now you're getting basically it's putting another roof on top of the roof, you know, a 25 to 30 year fix for that amount of money.
Okay,
Do they have a?
good deal.
Do they have a warranty?
Yeah,
20-year warranty.
Yeah,
It'd be 20,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, this is a good deal. And they're bonded and everything, so.
Okay, good.
Timeline for that?
It'll be one that he'll work in between jobs this fall. It's a 4-day job. It will be in and out in 4 days.
Will be
So,
done by season? Beginning of the
I
year?
assume, but I don't
I
know
would say
that
so.
for sure. But it won't interfere with us.
First of all.
It won't interfere with us because it's all just putting a roof on the outside. There's nothing they have to do. They just come
Well,
over.
I mean, I'm just asking, because there'll be another rain, there'll be more cleanup.
Oh, yeah,
When is
yeah.
this, you know,
Yeah.
that's why. I'm
Sooner
asking.
the better.
Sooner the better. And we told him that. Sooner the better. This is the kind of job, and the reason he's aggressive, he can put it in between 2 big jobs because it's just 4 days in, 4 days out. So he will work it in between 2 big jobs.
Thank you, Joe.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Alright, all those in favor of approving the roof replacement contract to Encore, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Alright, motion passes. Now on to our recurring, it used to be the Vision 2025 change orders, now it's the student boat home stuff.
Okay. Wow.
I don't know if I'd want to be
Sorry,
associated.
that was not the transition I was looking for. So,
I don't know any better, so.
student boat home.
All right, we have a couple bids here for roofing labor. Chipper Construction's been with their program for a long time, $3,500 bid, $1,750 discount on that for a final cost of $1,750, 50% off on that. We got a bid again from Precision Air. They quoted us $18,850, $1,820 discount with a final price of $17,030. Last, Steve's Mirror and Glass for our mirrors for the student home, $2,571.08. $1,062.35 discount for the final price of $1,508.73. So those three bids for our student home. This home's come along nicely. We're getting walls up right now, so the students are doing a phenomenal job on that. And, we're happy with their progress, so we've been pretty fortunate so far.
Weather's been good so far.
Yeah, it's been perfect.
So you'll be sealed up before winter starts then?
That's the idea, yeah. We did the application for the gas and electric. That is kind of get everything trenched in, get the gas line ran, so yeah, want to get that done.
Good deal.
You're doing the alternate on the heating and air one?
What's that?
Are you doing the alternate humidifier on the heating and air?
No, I didn't include that.
Be good to know.
The additional things that we could add.
That's nice.
Make a motion to accept the Kipper's construction bill for the student boat home.
Second.
Any discussion on Kippers? And that's just for carpentry, right?
That's for the roof labor,
Roofing,
yeah.
that's right, roofing.
The
It's a nice,
roofing supplies are separate
Yeah.
that we approved earlier.
Yeah, nice,
Very nice discount.
Yeah,
it is
yes.
Pete, isn't it?
Yep, he does a
Yeah,
good
he's
job.
a great guy.
Perfect, he's been great for our
He
program.
cares so much. Okay.
Yes, he does.
All right, any other discussion on this one? All right, all those in favor of approving the Kippers construction bid for the student boat home, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion passes. Now on to the Precision Air one.
Make a motion to approve the Precision Air for the student built home.
Second?
So moved and seconded. Any discussion on this one? All right, all those in favor of approving the Precision Air student boat home contract, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion passes. On to item C, Stevens Mirror and Glass.
It's Steve's.
It's
Steve Stevens, sorry. All right, sorry.
I move that we approve the Steve's Mirror and Glass for the student built home.
Second.
So motion seconded. Any discussion on
And
this one?
those are all installed, right, too? As
Yeah,
well?
students will be there.
That's,
No problem.
yeah, that's good.
All right, all those in favor of approving Steve's Mirror and Glass for the student boat home, please say aye.
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 Those opposed? All right, motion passes. Now on to the special ed deficit. Thank you, Mr.
Can I
Lindbergh.
ask one
Thanks,
question?
Dave.
Yeah, no
Oh,
problem.
you
Thank
have
you.
more
Real quick,
questions?
anybody that you're working with for the first time on this?
For the
Yes.
project?
Yeah.
For the first time,
Are these all repeat?
we.
I'm just looking at like Mike's Floorpot, we've gone with him for a lot. Have you
Yeah.
used Carpet Land?
Yeah, we got a quote
And
for
then-
Carpet Land. They gave us a very,
I mean, they're the winning bid, I'm guessing, but like, have we ever, I just don't remember them being, like, are we getting, I guess my point is, are we getting others too that are coming in, or have we dealt with anybody new that you know of?
Yeah.
or-
So, if you look at the spreadsheet right now, Rainier Door is a new one that we've gone back and forth. That's gonna be a new contractor we've used. We've had good luck with both of our contractors and the garage doors. It was a better bid, so that's why we went with that. I haven't submitted the carpet or vinyl plank install yet. We did get a bid through Carpet Land and Mike's Floor Pro, so if you do look at the numbers, it's looking, pretty good for Carpet Land. The HVAC, I did kind of reach out and try and get a few more bids on that, but
Didn't get anything.
Precision's just so, they've provided us a really good price, and they've been really good to us, that I just, the numbers just didn't match up. We went with Precision once again. Still bids to come in, we got gutters that we need to get, sod, we got some, but I would say 2 or 3 contractors in this year, but I definitely reached out. I called, like, for the Steve's, the mirror glass, I went on localloves.com, and I called 3 or 4 companies, so.
I was just wondering, like, I think as people hear about the program, it's nice to know you're getting other people that are interested as well.
We need 8 bids for painters, so that's one that I probably gotta put some work into. The painting is one that we wanna take a look at too, so I'll probably reach out to some of those contractors too. But yeah, we're trying to branch out and do our best to save money while still getting a good, teaching for our students, but also a good quality product too, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Good question.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Dave.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Yep,
Dave.
enjoy the night.
Bye.
All right, moving on, item D, we have special education supplement deficit. That's you.
Yeah,
Okay.
So September 15th, all of the year-end reports for financial purposes are due to the Department of Ed. So that got wrapped up, and part of that process is filing what's called the special education supplement. So we report to the state what our revenues and our expenditures were within the program. And last year, revenues totaled 5.9 million, expenses totaled 6.7 million, which resulted in a negative special ed balance of 815,000. The average for North Scott over the last 5 years or so was 616,000. It really can fluctuate year to year based on what the weightings are, the student count, Medicaid participation, the needs of students. So it's not unusual to have a deficit, but this evening I'm asking for board approval for me to submit a request for allowable growth so we can get our supplemental aid and for the special education program. It will not affect this year's budget or right now our levy rate or anything like that promotion, just so you know. So a request for allowable growth. Questions?
Thank you, Joe.
So you need a motion.
I do.
I'll make a motion to allow Jill to turn in our supplemental special ed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So motion seconded, any discussion on this one?
The only thing I would add is the state has targeted this for this year. They have talked everything from auditing all the districts and even going to their feeling is these are too high because you're allowing a special ed associate to be billed special ed at all times when if they're in the food service, they should be billed general budget. If their child isn't there and you have them in the library, general budget. So they're going to want to see is, is this truly all special ed, or have you let these people do other things? Because in their belief is people are hiring associates and they're really not special ed associates. And so we know this will be an audited area, a very deep audited area along with that risk this coming year. So
This is-
just FYI on that.
This is set up as kind of like a reimbursable kind of system, right? Because we charge throughout the year and then we ask the state, hey, this is what we spent, we need to adjust accordingly.
Yeah.
So that's why they're auditing it.
Correct. It's a property tax.
Yeah.
We increase our property tax really for the next year to pay back the deficit, and so it's on the radar to ensure that these are proper numbers. So it's future, but FYI, this could become a lot of work for Jill.
Jill.
We're
I have a whole team.
A team. Could become work for a whole
Jill's
team.
team. Jill's
And
team.
Heather. Jill and Heather. and the
We're
rest of
coding
them.
timesheets then, basically.
So, I knew this
All right.
was-
All right, all those in favor of approving, or sorry, any other discussion on this one? Got sidetracked. All right, all those in favor of approving item D, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, now on to our facility plan that we had a work session on a couple
So this
months
is,
ago.
yeah, this is my recommended plan. It's included in here to establish the timelines, and then I put high-end rough estimates that are in there of what the projects would cost. The other thing I'd say, Carrie had a great question. She called it in and just said, well, what if orchestra would do, shouldn't we also consider moving orchestra and building new rooms down by the band room so they're at that end? When we bring a committee together, what this allows us to do, the committee can look at different things and come back to the board. It may be too expensive because in the end, orchestra needs 2 rooms, or they would have to schedule high school orchestra and make sure choir wasn't being done at the same time because they need 2 rooms at the same time. It becomes a scheduling issue. We try not to limit committees to think outside the box, right? They may end up coming back going, listen, we're not spending $10 million, right? You need to reel this in. What this allows us to do is start putting those committees together and get things going. And so you can see I have year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4 as we talked about it. The one number that was not on here is Jill was finishing up her stuff she was just talking to you about. I asked to say, well, how much money are we talking about over time? So we made sure the board had, and the district had 1.7 million a year to do on projects. Because of our bonds and stuff, we haven't spent it. So as of now, we had 10, I got it here.
In the safe fund?
Yeah, in the safe fund, we have 3.725 million because we haven't spent it over the last few years. So when you take the 1.7 for the 5 years plus the 3.7, we over that time period we really have $2.12 million in save that we could do projects with. Besides, there's also we hold $750,000 as of this year that we set aside for that road expansion behind the tennis courts in case that development would ever go in. So there's more money in there than that. For these projects, for playgrounds, Pearl's going to be at the end of this year. There was $991,000 in Pearl. We add about $244,000 a year. That one would go up a little as valuations go up too. And so that's where we'd be looking at the playgrounds. I have a meeting with the principals coming up, say what would 5 years look like, which school would go first and stuff. And I'll bring that back to you as we set criteria and say this is our recommendation of which building will go, but that's separate than this. And so I'm recommending approving our facility vision as for the next 5 years, and so we can get started.
I move that we approve the facility plan for the next 5 years as presented.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. And any discussion on this one?
So if we
Tracy has
decided, in year 2 that we wanted to switch, we would just have to.
You just redo it and
Revisit
switch.
it. Okay.
This doesn't approve any one project.
Okay.
There's no, I mean, if let's just go with the first one. Orchestra came in way too much, and we're not gonna do that. That doesn't make any sense.
We're just laying out a framework.
This
It's
is
just,
a
that you
rough
gotta get
idea.
started. You can't do them all at one time, so get started. You still have to approve every project, as they come through.
So this recommendation is really to issue the RFP for architectural services to provide
It is-
design
it does do
and
that.
cost estimates for year 1 projects. So this is nothing
Correct.
about 2, 3, 4, 5.
Correct, but we need an architect to help us. We can't bid, we don't know what numbers are unless we get an architect involved in these big projects. We don't need an architect, for example, the audio enhancement, the company does that
Right.
themselves.
Right.
But we need an architect to work with the orchestra committee to look at it, well, what would an addition look like versus remodeling these 2 rooms? So
So just to
yes.
be clear, we're talking about year 1, because I'm looking at the other years, and I don't really recall that being our priority. Like, I don't recall, I think locker rooms were ahead of baseball from what I recall, but especially if we're talking about meeting ADA standards.
Oh,
So just wanted to make sure that that's.
Hey,
it's
you
just
can
year
always
1,
change
right?
those around. From my notes, this was the order,
Okay.
but I'd have to go back and look, at the consensus.
Okay.
There were differences, a little bit difference of opinion. I just took by what I felt was consensus.
But we're just voting on.
But you're right now, what this will do
Right.
is let me start doing the RFP for architect, so we can
Right.
interview architects and get year 1 started.
Exactly.
Yeah, so.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion on this one? All right, all those in favor of approving the 5-year facility plan with keeping in mind that we're really focusing in on year 1 and revisiting, because this is a committee of the whole now, so this will get
Yep.
reviewed periodically throughout the year. So all those in favor? please say aye.
Aye.
Thank
Those
you.
opposed? All right, we're approved. All right, get the RFP out.
Yep,
All
I
right.
have a rough draft of RFP, I'll
I
share
know
it
you
with
do.
a few of you, take a look at it, and then it's, obviously, we have some other meetings that might get scheduled, there's a lot of meetings coming up, so we'll have to figure out what works best for everybody, and who all wants to be on that.
Okay. Thank you, Joe. All right, moving on to superintendent's report.
Yeah, just a couple things. School board convention, again, you know, it's with the election, and everything, it's always weird timing. We are presenting at it, the convention, for our strategic plan process, so people can know about that. If you haven't already, let Trina know what day you're going down there, if you need a hotel room.
Don't we all have to be there at the end for the required training?
Yes
I
and
don't.
no. I mean, the law,
Yeah.
any newly elected one, they're saying everybody should be, that's why they
Okay.
put it there.
Okay.
It says when you're newly elected,
I thought it was a yearly requirement.
but
Yeah, I thought it was a yearly requirement, is the way you looked
I'll
at
have to
it
look
last
at
time.
that. But yes, you wouldn't have to be, there's an online version too.
Oh,
you
okay.
can do. So,
I'll go to that there.
but, yeah. So, but make sure to let Trina know. And then, school board, I know you all know, we have the 4 people running, McWell's, did I say it right, McWell?
Miguel.
Miguel, thank you. He is here tonight, he's running for the board, and then we have Morgan Dunn also running for the board, along with our 2 incumbents. And so, the 23rd, in case somebody wants to back out, that's the last day, you know, which is in 2 days, right? Or
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow. You don't back out by 5 p.m. tomorrow, your name's on the ballot whether you back out or not. So that's in the next deadline, so.
We've got less than 24 hours.
That's on there. And then I know I said at the beginning, just again, the November 10th meeting is this board. The reorganization and the seating of new board members isn't until the second meeting in November due to the canvassing. Even though the election's over, it has to be canvassed in the number of days before a board meeting is there, so. So other than that, homecoming week. We hope it's a nice calm homecoming week. Today was monotone, so I
You
didn't
did a
dress
good
up.
job,
Did I?
Hey, Joe.
So today and Friday I'll dress up and then the other days. But anyway, should be good. Should be good homecoming week. Parade's at 6 p.m. They start lining up at 4:30. But that's an hour and a half before the actual parade starts.
Yeah.
Do we need another gator?
Who else can be there?
Okay, I'll get one.
If you can come on.
I'm gonna be, who's gonna be for you?
Yeah, if Mark and I can do a gator, and you and Karen can do a gator, and Frank can do.
Well, I'm gonna walk.
Yeah, I can be there too.
If I can walk, but.
I'll be
I'll
running.
I'll see if I can get you a gator.
Okay.
People say, wear good shoes.
All right,
I know.
so
I
we'll
know.
meet, so we'll stage like we did
Now, wait
last
a
time.
minute,
be
why
able
do you need to
show
bring
up.
a gator?
Well, I don't know that I can walk. I'll fix my.
Oh, you can't walk.
I'll tell you what happened.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
All right.
All right, so that moves into our board comments and correspondence. So we'll meet, so line up, parade's at 6, try to be there around 5-ish, and then we'll all
That's,
bring.
I think that's really enough in 4:30.
Yeah.
Unless you really want a certain spot in the parade, then
What,
we're there at
oh, we're
4:30.
back to the parade?
Yes,
Yeah.
sorry, we're back to the parade,
Okay.
yes. And then candy, is
I
everybody
have
bringing candy?
ADD, so this
Yeah,
is
sorry.
good.
Bring a lot.
Everybody bring candy.
Bring
No, everybody bring a lot of
It's shorter.
candy.
It's
It is a little bit shorter.
Oh, but there'll
shorter,
still be a
so.
lot of kids.
Okay, but you are going to have gator and I'm gonna have a gator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we
Is
need
Frank
signs?
coming?
I have some magnets. I'm
We
gonna
probably need
drop
2
off.
gators for candy. and
I'll be there
everything
too.
else,
Yeah.
I'll drop
so.
off those.
Well, I'll bring a lot.
And then we'll have magnets put on the gator that say North Scott School Board.
You will?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll.
yeah,
I'll
she'll bring them to
show.
me.
But they don't sit on a gator.
I'll bring some clips.
I thought we tried last year and they didn't.
No, we tried the tape and it was awful.
Yeah, we made
So
it
I have
back.
some
Oh, we
clips
gotta
at
get
home.
it
I'll
on.
try to remember some clips. I have those
Yeah, we
big
need something
clamps.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cause I know they aren't magnetic.
All right, any other board comments, correspondence?
I think I forgot to say this last time, but just thanks for, when I had my surgery in August, thanks for the beautiful flowers, whoever arranged that.
We're glad
So
you're
it was
better,
a nice-
feeling good.
Yeah, that
Nice
was a
surprise.
Big ordeal.
Lasted like a month, so.
And if people didn't know, I think it was on Tracy's birthday, Coulter Christian Lane was born.
Oh, good day.
So we have a new
Good
little
day.
Lancer.
Lancer.
And who's that?
Mr. Lane at the high school, the principal,
Oh,
has a boy
oh, wait,
now.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
they have a boy now.
Yeah.
I don't even think about it as Lane.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
She was
cool.
ready to have that baby. She saw Addison like
Neat.
2 weeks before and she's like, I'm ready to go, kid, but I gotta be here.
All right, anything else?
Make a motion to adjourn.
All
Second.
right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you very
Wow,
much.
so you can't walk.
Oh, I was